Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into something really fascinating, a groundbreaking project that's using Islamic finance to dig up some of the most valuable resources hidden right under the desert. All right, let's just start with a huge number. We're talking about 650 million euros. Yeah, that's the price tag for a brand new mine. And this isn't just any mine, it's absolutely essential for our green future. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the big puzzle we're going to solve today. The source material tells us this massive project is being built without a single rial from the government. So, if the state isn't footing the bill, where in the world did all that cash come from?
Okay, to figure that out, we first have to understand what this mine is actually for. And that brings us to something our source calls the world's tech vitamins.
And this quote really says it all, doesn't it? We're not just digging up any old rocks here. These are the absolute essential ingredients that make our modern world tick. So what are these tech vitamins, you ask? Well, we're talking about things like neodymium, which is crucial for wind turbine magnets, or dysprosium, which you'll find in electric car motors, and even terbium, which helps power the screen on your smartphone. They are, quite literally, the building blocks of all this green tech we rely on. Okay, so let's circle back to that huge price tag, that 650 million euro puzzle. And this really is the core question, isn't it? How do you even begin to fund a project this big on the private global market? Especially when there are no government guarantees to back it up? How do you convince people to invest? Well, the answer is pretty brilliant, actually. It's a clever bit of financial engineering that our source calls the green Sukuk solution. So here's how they built the financial engine to power this thing. It's not just one giant loan. It's actually a really smart mix of three different things. You've got your green bonds, your Sharia-compliant Sukuk, and these things called carbon enhancement notes. It's like a three-part system, all working together. Okay, so what in the world is a Sukuk? It's a key piece of this puzzle. The easiest way to think about it is it's not a loan. It's more like a partnership. Instead of just lending money and getting interest back, a Sukuk gives investors actual ownership in the mine. You own a piece of it. So you don't get interest, you get a share of the profits. It's a totally different approach to investing. Yeah, this really breaks it down. A normal bond, that's a loan. It's debt. You're a lender, they're a borrower, you get your interest. Simple. But a Sukuk completely changes the game. It makes the investor a partner. You literally own a slice of the mine, so you share in its success. It's not a lender-borrower thing, it's a genuine partnership. So why go through all this trouble to structure it this way? Well, it's designed to tap into a huge and very specific pot of money, global ESG capital. We're talking about trillions of dollars from investors who want more than just a profit. They want to back projects that are good for the planet and for people. And for them, a partnership model like a Sukuk is a perfect fit. And check this out. To reach those investors, they're playing it really smart with a dual listing strategy. So they list the Sukuk on the Tadawul and Riyadh to get all that powerful local investment. But at the same time, they're listing it on the Luxembourg Green Exchange, which is basically ground zero for ESG capital. This way, they get the best of both worlds and maximum global reach. But, a great idea and a cool financial structure isn't enough to get 650 million euros. Not even close. Investors need to know their money is safe. So, let's see how the project managers de-risked this thing and locked in the deal. The key number to remember here is 10. 10 years. That's how long the contracts are that lock in the mine's revenue. They've guaranteed their income for a full decade before a single shovel even hits the ground. That's huge. And this chart just shows how unbelievably secure that revenue stream is. Get this, a whopping 90% of everything this mine will produce for the next decade is already sold, locked in, done. The contracts are with major tech buyers in Japan and the US. So if you're an investor, boom, a huge chunk of the risk just vanished. Okay, so the market risk is handled. But what if something goes wrong at the mine itself? What about operational risk? Well, that's where this financial fortress comes in. It's called a ring-fenced special purpose vehicle, or SPV for short. The best way to think of this SPV is like a submarine with those watertight compartments. If one part gets a leak, you can seal it off so the whole sub doesn't sink. Here, the mine, the processing plant, and all the cash, they're all in their own separate legal compartments. So if a problem pops up in one area, it can't bring down the entire project. It's brilliant. And to give investors total peace of mind, every single piece of this structure is tagged with global identifiers. We're talking total transparency. You can literally track every kilogram of metal from the moment it comes out of the desert all the way to a factory in Silicon Valley. All right, let's put it all together now. Let's connect the dots and see how this whole thing actually turns desert sand into the smartphone you might be holding right now. This table just lays it out so perfectly. You've got a clean power source, solar. You've got a clean funding source, global markets, not government money. And what does it produce? Clean metals, the very things we need for a green economy. It's this beautiful, self-sustaining loop. So really, this project is a whole new formula. No government money, no carbon baggage, just clean finance making clean metals. That's the whole shebang. And that leaves us with one big final question, doesn't it? Is this the new blueprint for funding the green revolution? Could this be the way we harness all that private capital out there to build the massive green infrastructure we need without waiting for governments to act? It's a really powerful idea, and definitely one we should all be watching.